Well. What an interesting day. If you manage to ignore the FUD, you didn't sell, and you didn't capitulate, and you allowed that resolve to be tested, you've sold nothing, and you're here for the bounce, well done. Have yourself a beer. You've literally survived 54% market correction on Bitcoin. Cheers. Been looking forward to that beer all day. So let's jump into it. Elon Musk has been shitposting for the last couple of weeks, saying Bitcoin's bad for the environment, which is not entirely true. I covered that in my last video with Ash from Sydney. Also said that Tesla obviously sold some Bitcoin, which they did, but they didn't sell all of it. And I don't believe they've sold any now. There's also a conspiracy which I found on the internet earlier today on Twitter. Basically, that what's been happening has all been orchestrated and planned by the banks, the hedge funds, etc., which is definitely the case if you read between the lines. So we've had that. We had Binance potentially getting sued for fraudulent activities. I mean, I can imagine that's true at some level, but that was another FUD article. And then we have the classic China banning Bitcoin, and it happens over and over and over again, and it's not always true. And just let's have a little watch of this video.
I sell Bitcoin at top, but we need to move market down. Say China ban Bitcoin. Nah, it's too old. We used it 15 times already. But it still works. Okay, I try. Yeah, hello, internet. Yeah, see, this is a big cheaper bank of China. Yeah, we ban Bitcoin now. What? What? Oh, dear God, China's banning Bitcoin. Sell it all.
So this is a classic, and when you actually look at the on-chain data, which if you want to look at some of those metrics, Plan C is brilliant for sharing them, and he has loads of metrics for where we are in the current cycle. You'll come to realise that it's just bullshit, and that media outlets are clearly releasing fear, and I can't say they are funded to, but it wouldn't surprise me that the rich are obviously manipulating what goes out in the media, like we know they do. And there's data on the chain which shows that largely the majority of sellers have been people who have joined cryptocurrency in the last 6 months, who've not had their resolve tested before, who have panicked, and who have actually sold at a loss. Now, if you did that, it's a painful lesson to not do it again. But also, you probably did one of two things wrong. You either were over leveraged and you were panicking that you were going to lose your collateral on loans. So obviously do not over leverage. Secondly, why selling at a loss? You've clearly used money that you're not prepared to lose. You have to have no emotional attachment. So if you're going to invest in cryptocurrencies, use money that you can afford to lose or you're prepared to lose. And then it doesn't matter if it goes down in the negative, because you can ride it out, maybe to the next cycle. But the point here is we are not at the end of this cycle. And just to have a look at how bad that dip was, we came down from 4 weeks ago basically a full 53%, which is huge, and all of the fear. And we basically smashed through the previous kind of all-time high support area, and then we actually tested the lower support of that range, right on the wick down here. I had a target here, maybe 80,000 Bitcoin by the end of June. I'm going to leave that on here, so if I do any future updates, we can see how close we get back to at least this trend line. But I don't think that's going to happen. But I'm happy to be proven wrong, because we can't get things right 100% of the time. And back in 2017, when it crashed, from the very top of the cycle, within 1 week, it crashed by 44%, but it took us 4 weeks just now to crash by 53%. And that was 4 weeks full of FUD, full of shit in the news and manipulation. And so it just doesn't make sense. And then it actually took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks to reduce by 70%. So if you do think this is the top, the reason you should never sell when the market has plummeted by 53% is that you always get a rally. And as you can see here, after that first week of dump at the top of the previous cycle, we actually had a rally, so that the very top of the rally was only 13% away from the all-time high, which means if you're patient, you can start selling on the rally up, rather than at the bottom of a dump when you are feeling the most scared. So keep that in mind for the end of this cycle. And the indicators do say on-chain data that all of the big players and long-term hodlers have been buying all the way through this crash, and that all of the new people have been selling, which is a big sign. And if you look at the news, you can see how mixed the views are. So here we've got crypto traders think the 2021 year-end return is going to be huge. Wells Fargo are going to have a professionally managed cryptocurrency investment. You really think they'd be doing that if it wasn't going to go up, long term? Then you've got another random article saying Bitcoin is dead. Another one here about it crashing, lost 250 billion a week, a little bit of fear. You just go through and Chartmaster predicted this bottom. But if you go through it, there's Microsoft somewhere which is saying they're going to accept bets on their games for Bitcoin. And, asset managers, they're expecting regulations. The Bank of America is pretending that, it's saying that Bitcoin's in a bubble, but long Bitcoin is the most common trade. So, there's a lot of mixed views, the fear factor. But when you look into it and you understand where these mixed views are coming from, there's clearly adoption going on by hedge funds, by banks, by governments around the world, and by people. And we've just witnessed a major FUD streak for the last few weeks of market manipulation. That's what I believe. So just hodl. And if this is the end of the cycle, you shouldn't be selling today. You should be waiting for the rally, which would come next week and the week after, or at least based on the previous cycle, that's what would happen. And if you were looking for a Matic entry, by the way, a whale alert, somebody has just sent $17 million worth of Matic from Celsius Network to an exchange. So some people are sat on some stupid gains, okay? So I said, look for an entry 150 and below, possibly down to here. The crash that we just had, well, guess what? It went all the way down to $1 on Binance. So if you had your limit orders in, if you were patient and didn't FOMO in on this crazy streak, which, by the way, is from the 25-day exponential moving average, 115% overextended, then you'll have got those buys at good prices. So patience nearly always wins in this game. And based, that's a big wick. I am still going to say we will see a little bit of a cool off of Matic because of the amount of people who are on ridiculous 7,000 plus gains on a lot of money, that we are going to go where we are now in the Goldilocks zone. So this Fibonacci nearly always works. And we're in it right now. So we should be looking, it's going to come back up. It'll test the limits of the resistances. But 176 to 147 is going to be a cool off range for me. So thanks for watching. I will be doing another episode of Plan C at some point about the Bitcoin indicators. And I'm also going to try and do a video this Thursday about my little experience with DeFi and the Aave Polygon ecosystem. And following from that, I've also got material which shows basically how to make compounding gains during the bull cycle, which is something I've been researching and been able to tell how that actually happens. And it's basically something that I'm going to learn for the next cycle and hopefully be able to help people understand how the market moves and help ourselves make some life-changing money on the next cycle. Because I think at this point where we are now, it's quite difficult to move money from one coin to another correctly, because they're all now at different stages of consolidation, and obviously with the Bitcoin crash, it's not as clear. You usually want to do it after we've had a big run, and then you jump into the ones which haven't moved. So, thank you for watching. HODL, do not sell at the new bottom floor for now. Let's ride this wave. Let's pay attention to the adoption news, not the fear articles. Thank you.